Welcome back to the annual English Language Institute convention. We are going to proceed on with our sessions, and now we are going to introduce Dr. Khalid Al-Dossary, Senior Consultant, HRD, Education and TESOL. Hold 2 majors, TESOL and HRD, Certified Performance Improvement Consult, certified by Saudi Aramco in partnership with international training entities. Currently the head and owner of the Cross-Cultural Communication Center for Educational and Learning Consultations, Dammam Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Previous jobs with Saudi Aramco Training Development Department, Security Organization. Former Professional Learning Administrator, Professional Development Department, Supervisor, Academic Curriculum, Testing Unit, Training, Career Development Department, and Assistant Superintendent, Academic Section, Industrial Training Department, Supervisory and Professional Unit, Supervisor Leadership Development Division, Professional Language English Center, Principal Professional Training Division, Staff Development Group, Supervisor Training Support, and Equality Assurance Division. On behalf of you, I would like to welcome Dr. Khalid Al-Dossary and invite him to the stage.
From there. It's off there. I will start from there. Okay. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and good afternoon. I hope my presentation will be a delicious dessert before I leave here. It's not going to be a nightmare. I'm very happy to be here, delighted to be with such bonanza of expertise in the field of teaching English. And that's the field that is my hometown, as they say, where I really have relished it since time immemorial, since I graduated from university. Very proud to be also part of this great team, to partners with you to make sure that we could do a much better job for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, especially towards achieving this great vision, 2030. Because at the end of the day, all these talents that we have, all these capabilities that we have, all these competencies that we have to be put together in a synergistic power where everybody should drive towards this vision at the end of the day. And no matter how much we stand here and talk, if we don't have all these energies marshaled into a synergistic power and we try to zoom in on that vision, we will go backward instead of forward. So something I would like really to say here, teachers can never be repaid. This field of teaching is not an easy field. You know, when you're dealing with the projects, you know, technical projects or any other projects, it's not like dealing with the project of developing people. Developing people is one of the most difficult tasks, and it requires a lot of effort, stamina, perseverance, lots of reading, lots of preparation, most importantly, lots of sincerity, commitment, and dedication. No one can reward or pay or repay or reward the teachers. The job that you're carrying is something that was carried by the greatest people ever, prophets and messengers. And those are basically the examples for humanity at large. You represent that caravan of trying to teach humanity the best, of trying to basically illuminate the way and make sure that humanity will be constructive all over. And here in the kingdom, we want you to be continuing this dedication and sincerity without being cynical about any innovation that is coming our way. We should always make sure that we marshal these efforts, these great talents that we have here. I don't stand here as an authority. I stand here as a reminder for all of us that your task is not a simple task. Your task, really a noble cause that was carried by the best people ever walked this earth. So we have to put this in mind while we are doing this. Teaching English today and before is very important, because if you shape basically the future of the kingdom, because many of those who graduate from your institute will go and join institutes and colleges and companies and whatever, and they will have their own way. And the language is much needed in this day and time to make sure that the world is in a much better, peaceful status than what we are witnessing. So if you have to make sure that you soar higher than just thinking of your limited esoteric thinking that I am just in this class. You have to really get out of that classroom mode, thinking about you are providing a service for a bigger cause. Now, 3 competencies are very, very, very important. You should always keep these competencies with you all the time. And we should always make sure whatever we do, we have these competencies with us: learning, communication, and leadership. These are the 3 driving competencies for whatever you do. If you don't include these 3 competencies in your teaching of the language, you'll always go backward. And construction will not be there. The construction of the individuals, constructions of the people, constructions of the society. And remember something very important. All the universities in the kingdom, all the education in the kingdom is zooming on one thing that is very important, and many people forget that, and the presentation will tackle it. What is it? It is trying to achieve something called knowledge society. If you go to AFAQ, which is the higher studies strategy, you will find this is very much focused as one of the most important things to turn the whole society into knowledge society. Knowledge society. Now, if you want to really turn the whole society into knowledge society, you have to make sure that you have an individuals who is continuously learning, a team that is continuously learning, communities that are continuously learning, societies that are continuously learning, companies and firms that are called learning organizations. And this is where the concept that will hit and will emphasize the knowledge society, which is basically the concept of the learning organizations. You need learning families. And when I was called upon in Riyadh to attend one of the workshops with the educators to talk about how we can turn the families into also learning family. Knowledge society, knowledge-based families, knowledge-based societies, knowledge-based individuals, leaders. And if we don't connect all of this together, with that, we will always think traditionally, and we're not going to prosper very well. Now, this is the road. I just want to show you this. So basically, I'm trying to make sure that human resource development and English learning, they get married and procreate, have kids, but not any kids, real kids, healthy kids, So basically, this is your platform to creating this learning community that all education in the kingdom, in the Gulf, trying to zoom in on and trying to hit to achieve that one, knowledge society. Now, this is a very important quote that will take you up, and you'll see why I'm joining both of them. Because if you don't join English with human resource development, you have a big problem. Okay? So that's basically what I remember when I came to Aramco at that time. By the way, I was in Jubail. I was the head of the English department in Jubail Industrial College. My history, and this city is basically my hometown. I have a wife who built and contributed to the building of this society here in Jubail. She passed away, alhamdulillah. But she's a martyr, alhamdulillah, inshallah, because she's one of the best ladies I ever had in my life. Never forget this woman. Okay, may Allah bless her. She has contributed. She's the first head mistress of the memorization of school, private school in Jubail Industrial College. She was an educator, English literature, so basically she's in the same field as you were. She passed away while in delivery. But anyway, I don't want to make you feel sad, because let me just make sure change the tone here. So this is what Abdullah Jum'a used to say. Remember this. This is what prompted me to get into that field. We are in an era where changes are rapidly thrust upon us. Competition is keen, and the bar of competency is being raised in every field, professional field. Every professional field. Traditional methods, no more. Traditional method of training have given way to new approaches where the individual now takes charge. That is the driving campaign that they drove at that time when I just joined Aramco, something 2 or 3 years ago. And this really was ignited my passion towards getting bigger concept of not just English or education. No, you go even on a bigger scale. You go to human resource development. Any English teachers have to or has to read about human resource development. This is what he said. This is a very important vision, and you should make sure that this is going on in your classroom, in your colleges, in your programs, whatever. He said, we seek to build round individuals and provide them with plentiful opportunities to realize their full potential. Why? To learn how to communicate, identify opportunities, share knowledge, lead teams, and search for innovative solutions. Imagine with the traditional approach in English, are we going to achieve this? No way. No way. This is a very guiding process or vision for all of us when we were in Aramco. I was leading very important projects at that time. Then he said, we need to rise to the challenge. You need to rise to the challenge. We need to develop global leaders, functional professionals, equipped with expertise, leadership, global competency through work and job training. This is a vision for all of you. Okay? Then he said what? Now, to do this, you have to make sure that you follow what Peter Drucker used to say or said. He said, the real transformations brought about technological innovation are not simply permitting existing activities and functions to be performed more rapidly or efficiently, but rather, meaningful transformation occurs when the processes themselves are, of course, different. You know, I remember an incident that happened to one of my kids in Jubail Industrial College. I shouldn't be mentioning it here. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to mention it, or people will get angry at me. Okay? I'll tell it to you later on. But the most important thing, processes and systems need to be changed. If you really want to, you know, this portfolio assessment is very, very, very important. Okay. Now, you have to link yourself with, these are all the courses that are taught in human resource development. So if you have a target to finish your studies, this is your target. This really added great value to my life. These are the courses that were given. And these are very important courses. The more you read about this, the more you want more. That doesn't satiate you, whatever. So these are basically now, remember this. You are a leader as a teacher. You facilitate an environment. You have to respect the dignity of the participants and the students and make sure you respect that to get the treasures out of them. Because as soon as that dignity is injured, you have a big problem in the classroom. You are the king or the queen in that class. You are also the most detrimental person or the most successful person, the one that can make and change the quality curriculum that make it successful or not, the quality curriculum that we put a lot of efforts into. Then suddenly you have a teacher in the trenches who is the king of the kings there, and the queen who is the queen of the queen there, and unfortunately she doesn't or he doesn't do a good job of delivering that quality. So what happens? You shoot yourself in the foot and you become destructive instead of constructive. And the whole company or the whole Royal Commission will lose that budget that's spent because of one incident, because of a teacher who is not really doing a good job. You are the king there. You are in charge, you know. Sorry, I'm taking a long time here. But anyway, this is leadership. Don't want to get into this. This is a very important model. Remember, you are dealing with a person who is an enigma. The one who is in front of you is an enigma. He's full of too many aspects. This human being who's in front of you is not just intellect, okay? You should always know that learning is a way of being. And I say it is being. It's not just a way of being. This is a book, very nice book to be read, by the way, for Peter Anvil. It's a must-read book, and it says exactly that this person in front of you is not just a matter of intellect. Okay. Look at this now. You see this person in front of you? So when you are creating a curriculum, or designing a curriculum, or writing a curriculum, or dealing with that person, you should know that this person, there are aspects of learning that you should be covering. You've got the intellectual learning, you've got the continual learning, you've got the reflective learning, cultural learning, recreational, emotional, expressive learning, creative learning, self-directed learning. All these types of learning are there. Any curriculum or university or school that you want to build, you have to make sure that you have all this in your mind, the background. Or else you're not going to do full, quality work for that curriculum or school or university that you're designing. Now, this is what I advocate. I advocate the concept of self-directed learning is the way to creating to a learning organization, to a knowledge society. So if you start this and put it part of your system as a portfolio assessment, this is what you need to do, self-directed learning plan, where students are formed into teams. I'll come to this. And after this is like the mazra'a, the farm, where you sow the seeds of what is coming. You develop leaders. You don't just develop students. You should make sure that you send the message that you are all participants in the process of learning. We are all contributing to that kingdom, whether we are a student or teacher, and you should always send the message that the student, he is a teacher, he is a student, he is a reflector, he is an evaluator. You have to make sure that he is involved heavily where you establish this self-directed learning teams in that farm where you grow the seeds of competencies for leadership. So this will lead to these competencies early on, you apply them. You apply these competencies early on. You sow the seeds for them. It's like the farm where you start growing. You need to nurture it though. You need to water it. And this will take you to, you will improve productivity and you will improve, you will create a learning organization and a learning society for that matter. And of course, you will prepare the workforce for the future for 2030 and for the kingdom. Okay? Now, this is the learning community I advocate. You have to start it early on. You don't wait, where you sow the seeds. And while sowing the seeds of the competencies, you are also developing the leadership, not any leadership. It is the principled, ethical leadership. Okay, and you will keep growing it, pruning it, reaping it, till you get to that learning organization. And remember, 3 words. 3 words. تعلم, in Arabic we say تعلم, علم, تتعلم. learn, teach what you learn, you will learn more. Learn, teach what you learn, you will learn more. Because when you learn, you get knowledge. But when you teach what you have learned, you build a character of sharing and caring, of values and character. As soon as the students learn something, it's very important to make sure that they teach it so that they learn more. They learn more by teaching, you know. And this model will explain it very well. This model will explain. This is basically the summary of what, this is the model that I just said the summary of that, or the gist of it. So basically, you know this. I've developed it. It was only retention based, where when you attend a lecture, you get 5% retention-wise. When you read, you get 10%. Audiovisual, demonstration, and it goes up till you reach what? Teaching others. Learn, teach, okay? Teach what you learn, and you build your character very well. Because as soon as you start basically sharing what you learn, and you stand in front of people and present it so powerfully, what happens in the process? You have built that character and that anchored habits that you really need to have to sustain the continuous learning and to sustain the continuous improvement of the individuals and the society at large. So when you teach, what happens? 90% happen. Now, if I go back here, you will see that there is what? There is retention. I only spoke about retention. But remember, when you apply this, you have a big task also as teachers, as management of training and institute. What is it? You are supposed to develop the teachers, develop what? The art of mentoring, the art of facilitation, because as soon as you go up in the ladder, you are empowering the participants. Now, if you empower the participants, you teachers have to make sure you learn the art of facilitation, the art of mentoring, because these are very important for companies and work outside and even at home. And also, in the process, you'll go up, you will build that character. Basically, you will build these competencies. Now, you're going to have what? An agile, the words that has been mentioned here, fast, quick, witted individual, spontaneous, somebody who can act on the spot in no time. When there is a situation, he can easily lead the situation. This is if you go deep and you hit into the competencies, make sure these competencies, what? And this can be done if we have a very well-structured, self-directed learning teams, structured that you can structure it in the system. But we have to make sure that it is also included in the portfolio assessment, okay? Because if you don't, you have done nothing. Now, this is the self-directed learning definition. It's just a quick thing. I know you know that. I'm just reminding you. I don't stand again as an authority. I'm just reminding you and trying to connect all the threads, as they say, so that this conference, at least you leave with something worthwhile from me. I hope I'm adding something of value to you. But you have to, I'm trying just to put you in focus with these things. You talked about collaborative thing. You talk about cooperative. But at the end of the day, if you don't do it practically, there's a lot of theories written. But we have to do it practically. This is what I did when I was given the task of restructuring the English department, the English Center in Aramco for the graduates when they joined Aramco. That was basically what I did. I tried to join it with HRD, with competencies, with a lot of things. It was a big task for me. Well, you know that. I don't need to say more about that. This is learner-centered approach, basically, or self-directed learning. Learner is an active participant. Teacher is a learning facilitator. Curriculum is competency-based. Learners aim for continuous self-development. Learners use extensive and varied resources, reading a lot. Okay, learner is empowered. You give him the power there. Addresses different learning styles, focus on how learners learn. Learners interact with each other and instructors. Learners work in pairs, groups, or alone. Learners talk. Instructor provides feedback when questions arise. Learners are engaged and focused and active. And I will get somebody saying, yeah, you're just wasting our time. Cynicals are all around. The most dangerous disease is becoming cynical and cynicism. This is what has destroyed everything. There is a saying in Arabic for the Prophet, may the blessing and peace be upon him, he said, "Man qala halaka an-nas fahuwa ahlakahum." Whoever says that people are ruined, he is the one who has caused them ruin. Or in another narration, whoever has said people are ruined, basically he has, well, people are, he's, I don't know, I forgot the narration, but basically we have to be positive. Whatever comes our way, we evaluate it constructively and make sure we put things together. Too many ideas are coming our way. You know, just in this conference for 2 days, you've been bombarded with a lot of things. Now, how can you become positive in the middle of this and take something of practical aspect, you apply it, and you try to run with it? This is, I'm talking about the self-directed learning. This is exactly the same environment that you need to do it at home, you need to do it in your colleges, you need to do it in companies. This is exactly all the most important things that we're talking about. This will build a knowledge society. So these are some of the projects that I led while I was in Aramco. And of course, now I retired 7 years ago, and I'm into cross-cultural communication, roaming the world, trying to make sure that the world is in a better place instead of the mess that we are witnessing these days by improving cross-cultural communication. This is this is what I did. This is one of, I designed an academy for Aramco for the professional called Saudi Aramco Professional Academy, based on what I'm talking, by the way. And it won a prize, international prize by FTDO. So that's basically, to us, this is part of this. I'm just showing you some of the pictures of some of the projects that I use. So whatever I say here is not wishy-washy stuff. Something practiced, something done, something was really tried, and you know, they were success story. Alhamdulillah. You could see here, experiential learning, project-based, name it, all these nice words, buzzwords that you can use here. Of course, this is based on the constructivist, social constructivist approach. I don't want to go into these theories because I'm not a good person when it comes to, I don't like theories. I go into practice right away, make sure that they are on the ground. These are some of the activities that we did at that time. Sorry. Just you can look at it. By the way, this is for sharing. I hope the people here will share this presentation with the participants. This is the least we can do, you know, because I've seen that, you know, there is no proceeding and there is no flash memory that you have to. It's a must share these things with the people so that people can go with this, use this information and apply that. Why is this detail important? Increases learning, links learning to participant interests, job requirements, guides participants, instills responsibility, accountability, places the participant at the center of the organization, promotes lasting structured character, and prepares individuals for the learning organization. Okay. This leads to the concept of Peter Senge. What is the concept of Peter Senge? These are very important because if you want to have knowledge society, you have to make sure also you base it on that learning organization model. Peter Senge is one of the gurus of that, and his book, The Fifth Discipline, The Art of Learning Organization, is a must-have for any teachers, by the way, any teacher, manager, whatever in the field of human resources, and it's found in Jarir, I think, and they've translated it, I think. So basically, this DLT will get you into that. This is my claim, and this is my model. So what is learning organization? Don't worry about that. Just SDLT supports and is supported by the main theoretical model for successful organization. The learning organization is where people continually expand their capacity to create the results they desire.
We run out of time. We run out of time.
Wallah? Can't I have 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
No, 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes, so I can complete something. 5 minutes. Make it 3. 3? Yeah. MashaAllah, very generous. I've never, very nice, MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Anyway, I don't need to get into this. This is basically the STDLT, and this leads you to the 5 principles. These are, put this in your mind, in your class, in your colleges, These are the most important 5 principles that you need to keep them in your mind. Shared vision, the collective will that emanates, mental models. You need to challenge the mental models by coming with a lot of innovative stuff. You need to make sure that there is always team learning, whether they are in the class or outside class, whether they are employees or participants or students. You need to make sure that personal mastery is there, where people discover themselves when they work in teams. By default, you will discover yourselves. You'll know they will reflect as if there is a mirror. You will see your deficiencies, and you will try to improve your competencies that are deficient. Of course, you need to think systemically. You cannot just change curriculum without changing the assessment, and you cannot just change that without training the teachers. Systemic thinking, you know. Come on. And this is the learning organization. The same thing. I'm just giving you different models. Don't worry about it. Forget. I'll just move fast. Okay, this is just a quick thing. These are some of the challenges. Again, the challenges are what? Attitude of the people, time, received. People think this has nothing to do with the objectives. Okay, these are some of the challenges. Of course, there are the solutions, and the solution is basically make sure that you market intensively, you integrate with core work, you integrate with outside world, with the vision, with the vision of the kingdom, with the vision of the education. You integrate all what you do basically with the vision of the institute, with the objectives of the institute. Okay, there are lots of things here I cannot really cover now. I just want to move to end this. I'll continue. These are some of the triumphs that we achieved. Okay, and I'll end with this. Now, gathering the threads. Why is it important? Increase the layer. I think I'm repeating myself here. I'll just go over it quickly. You can read that. Okay. This is the ship. This is a project, a different project. Forget it. But I want to leave you with this before to end with this. No matter what we do, if we don't start this early on, you'll have a problem. We need to start making sure, like one of the teachers here mentioned, are you including this in the levels, which he mentioned it rightly. It's very important to make sure that we inculcate this, cultivate this in this guy. You see, like this one. Make sure you do it with your kids at home if you really want to achieve what I'm trying to achieve. You see how nice this boy is? With this, I would like really to thank you very much, and I hope I have given you something worthwhile. يعطيك العافية. 3 دقائق. سرعت حتى حبيبي. يلا حياك الله حبيبي الله يجزيك خير. أسكر هذه عشان ما تزعجك. حياك الله حبيبي. خلاص بس جزاك الله خير.
We cannot but thank Dr. Khalid Al-Dossary for his enlightenment and elaboration on the English learning and HRD hand in hand. I would like to pay your attention that all presentations of this convention will be available on the website of the convention for downloading. Now I would like to invite Dr. Abdullah bin Khalid Al-Jami'a, the English Language Institute Deputy for Education Training Affairs, and also the member of the organizing committee, to honor the speaker of the session. Dr. Khalid Al-Dossary, Cross-Cultural Communication Center for Learning and Educational Consultations, whose presentation was on English learning and HRD hand in hand.